Hi there.
Hi, welcome to Curious Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
Today we're going to talk about the fact that we all need to just put away the hopium, come to reality, come to recognize what's actually going on in the reselling world, and what we can do about it. Because the idea that somebody is going to come save us, somebody's going to come and buy out all of our inventory or do some other miraculous thing is absolute nonsense. So, I've made a list here that we're going to go down real quick of all of the crazy things that I've heard recently that are going to save resellers and they're going to save the reselling industry. Again, just put away the hopium. Like, come to reality. We can all just live in a real space. A debt jubilee. All of a sudden, in biblical times, every 50 years, there's supposed to be this debt jubilee where all debts are forgiven.
It never actually happened.
It never happened in the Bible. It's never happened in modern times. It's not going to happen. You can forget about it. Stimulus. Uncle Joe's going to send me that stimulus check. No, he's not. He's got no interest in sending you a check. This is not a political channel. It could be Uncle Don. I don't care. Nobody's sending you a stimulus check that's going to dig you out of this hole or it's going to stimulate people to consume more products. Mm-hmm. No reduction in shipping costs. People are talking about USPS is going to cut rates because, shipping is down. No, they're not. They just increased rates. They've increased rates every single year for the last 4 years straight, 10% every year. We're up almost 40% over what we were doing just in 2020. USPS is not going to cut our rates. They're not going to give us a deal.
eBay fees. Let's reduce those too.
Yeah, eBay just laid off 1,000 people. Our heart breaks for every single one of those workers. Mm-hmm. And the idea that they're going to somehow stop taking money from sellers so that they can, drive more business is nonsense. They're not going to cut fees after laying off 1,000 people. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen.
Dropping in promoted listings.
Yeah, eBay's not going to eliminate promoted listings. This is another fairy tale land. The thing that I keep hearing is that, they're going to see it's not working and they're going to get rid of it. No, they made like $3 billion last year, most of it from promoted listings. They're not going to do it. They're not going to get rid of promoted listings.
It'll get better when others drop out of, the marketplace.
It might get slightly better when some sellers leave the marketplace. But one of the things that I think about is that sellers are also buyers. Mm-hmm. A lot of times people that are selling on a platform buy on the platform. When they leave, they take that buying power with them as well. So they might be buying today. They might be selling tomorrow. If they leave, they're gone. Mm-hmm. And their dollars leave with them. So I don't anticipate a miraculous recovery when sellers start dropping off the platform. When sellers start packing up and they say, I'm not going to sell anymore. I'm going to move my products to a different platform. That's not improving anyone's reality.
They're going to lower interest rates.
The Fed lowering interest rates will not improve the economy. I'm sorry to tell you. It's not going to happen. 0.25% coming off a mortgage does not make you buy a house any more than it would make you buy a $100,000 car. Any more than it's going to make you go and refinance everything you own. 0.25%, 0.5% does not change people's household economy. If you had, say, $10,000 on a credit card at 24% interest, you're paying, 25%, $2,500 a year in interest. 0.5% is not going to change that reality. Now instead of 2,400. Or 2,500, whatever the numbers are, it's going to drop down to 2,350. That doesn't change your household reality. 0.5%, 1%, that doesn't change anything. We're stuck in that reality, and it's.
You ready?
Yeah.
My category is going to come back. I used to sell punch bowls, and they did really, really good, and they're not right now, but that's going to come back.
The idea that some of these higher end or mid-range products that are not exceptional are going to come back into that fervor that they had in say 2020 or in the 90s or in the 70s.
Collector's plates.
Hummels aren't coming back, guys. They're not. Beanie Babies aren't coming back. Pop figures aren't coming back. These are dead categories. These are dying categories. If I were in any of these, I would be trying to distance myself as much as possible. We talk about cat figurines all the time as a joke, but we have sold hundreds of cat figurines. We're getting out of the cat figurine market because we see the value of cat figurines dropping daily.
Even though we just literally sold one yesterday.
We sold two.
Yeah.
We sold two cat figurines just yesterday, but the sale prices on them were like $8. Mm-hmm. So by the time you take out the shipping, your packaging, you're really not making any money. The people that want the little shelf sitters, unless it's something exceptional, that category is not coming back. Mm-hmm. So we're just trying to put our distance between it and move into things that are more desirable. So that's kind of the hopium stuff that I've been hearing out there. And I'm not saying that people should be hopeless. What I'm saying is that you need to have realistic expectations of what the world actually looks like.
So that you can plan accordingly.
Right. We can make a plan and we can execute the plan accordingly and accurately. We want everyone that's out there that's in reselling to be successful at this. Mm-hmm. This is our full-time job. We're not making money from our videos. We're not making money by selling people products or plans or courses or anything like that. We are 100% resellers. All of our household income is derived from reselling. Mm-hmm. And we know that it's a profitable industry, that it can be profitable, but we all have to be making good decisions every day, consistently.
And we also know it's a little bit scary right now.
It's incredibly scary. Our sales have been on a decline for the last week.
They have. And we've had returns.
Multiple returns.
And we've had people that have been like, utilizing the 15% when you buy multiple items. Well, we had one person who bought a $300 item and then bought a postcard so they can save their 15% after already negotiating down the cost of the item. So, I mean, we're also getting squeezed just like everybody else out there. And it would be awesome to be like, oh, you know what? If we can just get a stimulus check, that would be awesome. Like, I don't have to work harder. I don't have to think ahead. Yeah. I don't have to plan accordingly. I don't have to budget. I don't have to do anything because if I just wait long enough, then they're going to send me a check and then everything will be all better.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't see that in the cards. There's no talk of it. There's nothing out there that looks like that. My personal opinion is that they want to keep pressure on. The Fed wants to keep pressure on us, and not just the federal government, but the Federal Reserve. They want to keep the pressure on. They want to get people working. They want to see more numbers of workers in the workforce. And they're trying to squeeze people out of contract work or out of independent work. So whatever they can do to do that is really the goal. So what are we going to do? All right. So we know we've got quality listings. That's something that we have to do. We're going to have to make sure that we're selling quality products. Right.
Those exceptional pieces that we keep talking about. Or exceptional deals.
Right. The resin cat figurines aren't going to make it anymore. Mm-hmm. Chipped, damaged, broken, discolored, stained. Any of that type of stuff's not going to continue to work.
No. My cut, like the items that I'm just not going to allow in the store, the quality is... it just has to get better. So, the things that I'm wholesaling to like the auction house or what have you, like there's more things that are going in that direction because it has to be great.
Right. We're going to have to offer things at a competitive pricing. Now, that seems obvious at first, but, so we're going to do our comps. We're going to make sure we got the right price. But on the flip side of that, we've got to make sure that we're getting the best deal when we buy it. Because if you can sell things at cost every day, and if you're selling things for what you paid, you're going to lose 15% every time.
Yeah, and all of your labor goes like out the window.
Right. So we've talked about before, list from your back stock. You know, that's a great way to save principal, is to just continue to rework that old inventory that you've got, either listed or unlisted, and make sure that those are all great items and great listings. And then we want to make sure that we're running a budget. Now, this is the hardest part, in my opinion, of owning a business or running a household, is allocating every dollar at the beginning of the month to where the needs are.
Right.
So the first thing we talk about at the beginning of every month, we pay ourselves at the beginning of the month, which means by the beginning of next month, I need to have our payroll.
Right.
So that's our number one expenditure.
Yeah.
It's our most expensive part of our business. And it's also the number one priority, is that we need to make sure that we get paid.
Right. Right. Because we don't want to dip into our savings. Like that doesn't run the household. Right. Like, because we will eventually one day retire, you know, because that's our plan, is to live that long. And, you know, but part of that is also like, we do talk about, okay, well, what are some things that the business wants to purchase? Right. Like I do jewelry. So we've talked about, you know, wanting to. So
we create a priority list. We have first on our priority list is our payroll. And then next, maybe we need some shipping materials. So that goes on our list, and we prioritize the list down. And as the sales come in and as the capital is free, then we start making those purchases. Okay, you know, we have an extra $200. We can afford to now buy that packaging, or we can afford to now upgrade that printer that we've been talking about, or now we can go out and we can spend X amount on sourcing.
Right. But even the sourcing we prioritize. Right. You know, we'll say, okay, well, it's been 4 months since we've gone to this flea market, so they'll probably have new items to go to. Or, you know, it's been a month since we've gone to the auction house. And, you know, all right, well, let's look at the pictures. Okay, you know what? Maybe there's not something totally exceptional today, so maybe we go ahead and hold on to our capital this week.
Right. And we look at what we've sold recently and determine what's selling. You know, if as an example, over the weekend we did a lot of postcard sales. Okay, well, maybe we should go stronger in that category. If that's where the tide is pushing us, that's where we're going to move. Right. We're going to go heavier in the areas that are selling today.
Right.
You know, a big part of running a budget is knowing what your numbers are. You have to know what you need versus what you want. And you need to have the numbers allocated. And then you need to be able to make those decisions based on real-time numbers. And we talk about it a lot recently, that we've got up-to-the-date information based on our payroll, based on our budget. And so we're able to make those decisions instantaneously. I don't need to wait to the middle of the month till I get my statement from the bank to figure out if I made money.
Right. Have savings. Like you do. You have to have savings, both in the household budget and in the business budget. You have to have money set aside for emergencies, for, you know, that next big buy that somebody is selling their entire booth, and you're like, holy crow, this is exceptional stuff that I know I can do well in. Now,
ideally, I would love to have 6 months of budget for both our household and our business. But that's a dream. That's not real. But the amount of personal anxiety that comes from not having the money is directly proportionate to how much your savings is. You know, if you're flat broke and if you lose a tire, that's devastating. You know, none of us as resellers should be borrowing money.
Right.
Just as an example, we all talk about how eBay has 15% fees and how much that squeezes the margins out of our products. Now, if we're going to take and buy our inventory on debt, we're going to borrow at 20%. Now that means all of a sudden we've got to make 35% on that product when we sell it, just to break even. So this is something that really scares me for a lot of sellers, is that they're running a business on debt. And I know that there's gurus out there that tell you should borrow every dollar you ever spend because you're using other people's money. But the reality is they're letting you use their money because you're giving them money in exchange. It's not free money. And now with interest rates being high, it's not like you're borrowing at 2%. You're borrowing money at, you know, anywhere between 8 and 30%, depending on, you know, is it a loan? Is it you know, credit card? So let's stay away from debt. That is dumb. So the last thing is, you know, we talked about a little bit having that savings in case somebody runs, you know, decides that they're going to get out of the industry. We talk about it a few times recently. We've bought out a Fiesta seller. They had a Poshmark store. They ended up going back to work full time. Yeah. They were a part-time seller, part-time worker. They went full-time on their work because it just wasn't working for them.
Right. And then last week
we bought out a jewelry vendor.
Right. Yeah. She's like, you know what? I'm retiring. I can't do this anymore. And I get it. You know, this is some scary stuff. It is. Sometimes it feels like it would be easier to just work for someone else, punch the clock, get your check at the end of the week, and not have to have so much of your brain wrapped around, are we meeting payroll? Are we meeting these numbers? Are we doing this okay? What can I do to save more money? What can I do to, you know, sometimes your brain is just like, especially his brain, like it's so full of business all the time that sometimes you do feel like you just let someone else make the decisions for me. Yeah. I don't want to have to make every single decision for the business.
Unfortunately, that is business, and no one's coming to save us. We need to figure it out on our own. We need to take personal responsibility. We're not going to count on the algorithm to save us. We're not going to find a workaround that is going to cheat the algorithm. It's just not happening. So I hope that, you know, everyone is doing well out there. If not, you know, let's take a look at our businesses, figure out where are we lacking, what can we do for growth. I'm sure we missed some things. If you've got some crazy ideas about how things are going to magically turn around, why don't you let us know? Yeah. If you've got an answer as to what we can do to be better sellers that we might have missed, why don't you throw that in the comment section as well? Like and subscribe. Thanks for joining us today.
All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck to you out there.